Medium optimization, we have learned about the one factor at a time approach, full factorial design. Then we have learned about the limitations of one factor at a time as well as full factorial design. Then what are the advantages of the screening designs? An example of screening design we have learned is Plackett and Berman's design. So how exactly Plackett and Berman design is used for the identification of important or significant variables that shows the highest effect on the response we have discussed. After the identification of the critical factors, the factors which shows highest response, highest effect on the response, after their identification, that means now here in this case the number of variables are decreased and therefore now full factorial design is possible. So after the identification of critical variables through Plackett and Berman design, what is the next step? Further optimization is done by using optimization designs. These optimization designs are called as response surface methodology, that is RSM. So once the critical factors have been identified by screening designs, the investigator can proceed to the optimization stage of experimental designs. This is the very critical and one of the this will be the last step in the optimization, where will the investigator will identify the concentrations of different variables required for the highest response or required for the highest production of different metabolites. So all the non-critical factors, that is those which will not be tested further, must be fixed at one settings or one level. That means the only the factors which have been identified critical, their concentration should be changed in next experimental stages, whereas non-critical parameters, their concentration should remain constant because they does not have any effect on the response. So after Plackett and Berman's design, the next step is response surface methodology. Using this methodology, we'll identify and fix the exact concentration of critical variables required for the production of highest response. So the next step in medium optimization is to determine the optimum level of each key independent variable which has been identified by Plackett and Berman's design. So using response optimization techniques introduced by Box and Wilson, we have learned what is response. Now let us see what is the definition of a response surface. So response surfaces are basically similar to the contour plots or topographical maps. Contour plots show the lines of constant value. So these contour plots we might have learned in the geography subject, which is basically useful for determining the altitudes. Say for example, this is the hilly region, so you can see the variation in the heights of hill. But this is a three-dimensional picture. It can be converted into a two-dimensional picture, and that two-dimensional picture will give you the idea about the altitude or the height of this particular hilly area. This is called as contour plot. We can see here that the height of this hill, it is divided into equal increments, means it is just like axis. So we can see the height of this hilly area is ranging from 1100, 1200, 1300, 1400, 1500 and so on. So the region or the altitudes having same height, altitudes having same height, all these points are joined together to obtain a counter plot. So counter plots show the lines of constant value. So all the values heights having a height of 1400 are joined to form a counter plot. So the replica of this, if it is taken, now this is three-dimensional, if it is taken on a two-dimensional paper or picture, will be like this. It will be the reflection of that height, where we can see the areas of high altitude, which are small circles, and long higher smaller altitudes are big circles. This is how this three-dimensional picture, it can be represented in the form of two-dimensional picture. This is the idea regarding how the contour plots or topographical plots are drawn. This is another example. Here you can see the highest part, where which is represented by a very small circle, and this altitude graph is represented on a two-dimensional paper, which creates a design like this. So this is how the response surfaces are also drawn. So instead of high altitude, here in media optimization studies, response surface methodology leads to the generation of contour plots. We call them as response surfaces. Now exactly how these response surfaces are built up. So response surfaces means these are the surfaces similar to contour plots or topographical maps. As we have learned, contour plots show the lines of constant value. So contour plots are a way to show a three-dimensional surface on a two-dimensional plane. Very important. So response means the result of an experiment carried out at particular values of the variables being investigated. The axes of these contour plots are experimental variables x, y, x1, y1, constant liquor at different concentrations, soybean flour at different concentrations, or ferrous sulfate at different concentrations. So the axis of contour plots will be these experimental variables at different concentrations, and the area within the axis is termed as response surface. That is the definition of response surface. So response surface is created by the values generated by responses which are carried out at different concentrations of critical variables. Now the construction of a contour plot, what is it exactly? It is a way, it is one of the way of representing the data or the research findings or the experimental responses which were obtained are constructed and presented in the form of contour plots. So this leads to an easy understanding of the zone of interaction. That means wherever the different concentrations of variables interact to produce the highest response. So this interaction, it can be identified with the use of these counter plots. That is the advantage of response surface methodology, and we can further optimize these values in further studies. So how these counter plots response surfaces are constructed, the results or the responses of a series of experiments employing different combinations of variables are inserted onto the surface of the plot that leads to generation of response surface. So these values are plotted into the three-dimensional space of between the axes. So the points that are after feeding the values of responses, the points giving the same results, that means the equal responses, all the equal responses of the experiments are then joined together to make a counter line. This is an example. We can see that the axis of these plots are initiator concentration, which is one variable which is tested at different concentrations from 19 to 29. Another variable which is put on another axis is pH, which is tested from 7.3 to 6.8, and the responses, that is PS, are plotted into the three-dimensional space. So all these responses, when they are joined together, then it will lead to the generation of these counter lines, and these lines are nothing but the response surface. There are several examples or several patterns of the response surfaces that can be generated. These are the basic four patterns. First pattern is a simple maximum pattern or simple minimum pattern. You can see here, this is how the three-dimensional counter plot is generated by using the parameters B and A at different concentrations, and the shadow of that, you can see the shadow of this three-dimensional picture response surface below on a two-dimensional plane. So this is how it looks like on two-dimensional plane. This is called as the counter plot, where you can see that the red region, it indicates the area of significance. It means that at these concentrations the highest response can be obtained. That means that is the area where these two parameters interact and responsible for giving maximum response values. Second is rising ridge. Now here again you can see the rising ridge pattern, which is diverted towards uh, one plane and another, so it is just in a slanting position. You can see the reflection at the bottom on two-dimensional plane. So it looks like this rising ridge. So red color means it indicates that the highest response is obtained at these different concentrations of A and B, which is the area of, which may be the area of further optimization. Stationary ridge, where you can see again a different pattern and the shadow of that at the bottom on two-dimensional plane. So it looks like this. So the red area means these are the different regions where the parameters variables A and B are interacting and giving highest response values. Next one is saddle or minimax. So it is a quite complex form where you can see a lot of variation in the response surface. The replica of that you can see at the bottom, and it looks like this on the two-dimensional figure. So the red area is the area where highest responses are obtained, and that will be the area of interaction and the area of further study. for parameter A and parameter B. So in its simple form, two variables are examined and the plot will be two dimensional. These are the similar pictures or the patterns which can be seen, like we have seen in the earlier picture, the three different dimensions, that is mound, rising ridge and saddle, as we have seen. So here you can see the responses in two dimensions, where at the center 30, can see 30, where the maximum response is generated, and that will be the area of further optimization. In figure B we can see the maximum is 40, that will be the area of further optimization of our x1 variable and x2 variable. So this is how the response surface methodology uh, is useful to determine the exact concentrations of critical variables, and then in further studies these concentrations of different variables which are showing interaction, which are showing the highest response, can be refined in the further process. Means their concentration range can be refined in further process in order to determine the exact concentrations of x1 variable and x2 variable. This is how we come to the conclusion, and finally we design the medium with fixed concentrations of non-critical parameters and optimized concentrations of critical parameters. Of course, for generation of all these plots, the three-dimensional plots and their conversion into two-dimensional, there is a need of a software, and that software, JMP software or the statistical softwares, are basically useful for the generation of these response surfaces. These response surfaces cannot be generated manually, they can be generated only with the use of these statistical softwares.